All right, good morning. So, boy, do we have a topic today. We got a banger topic today. In fact, we have a couple of them that tie together. And guys, we usually try to try to get in and out in about a 30-minute window on this show. Maybe, maybe, but I might just have to go on and on and on, especially given the topic and the level of its trending. Hopefully we'll get a lot more activity in the chat today. Hey, we got Legion with us. Thank gods we've got Legion with us today, because the topic we're about to do, or rather the several topics we're about to do, and the amount of SEO promotion that I did on this particular topic this morning, I'm hoping to have a troll-rich chat today. It should be fun. And trolls on a topic that I'm more than happy to get cruel about. Cameron's with us, and he'll be joining in the conversation in just a minute. Let's do this. Let's not wait. TikTok user perfectly shuts down transphobic super straight trend. Oh? Hey, Dave's with us and James Royster's with us. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to the conversation about the super straights. And, oh, Lord. Where is it? Where is it? I thought I had it pulled up. Damn it. I have... Boom, there it is. Okay. Super straight.
I identify as super straight.
There's already a subreddit on this. Super straight. A community for oppressed men and women that consider their sexuality, gender/religion to be super straight. Super straight, a sexuality meant to describe a male or female that is only attracted to the opposite biological gender. And apparently this group also has super gays, super lesbians, which is a sexuality meant to describe male or female that is only attracted to the same biological sex or gender. So that's right. If you're a gay man who refuses to have sex with women, then you're a transphobe. So, okay. Let's lead the topic off here before we get too far down the rabbit hole of talking about what happened, who's talking about what, so on and so forth. Legion says 4 dead and 3 wounded at white supremacist heterosexual rally. Do you have a link? Or is that I don't understand, Legion. Is that just a joke, or are you making reference to an actual event? Because I'm missing something. Anywho, this is a thing the left loves to do. They present you with the fallacious argument that A is the opposite of A, right? A man is a woman. A healthcare bill is a bill about healthcare, right? They give you an insurance bill and they call it a healthcare law. That's a lie, right? They give you the U.S. Department of Energy and it produces zero energy. They hand you a man in a dress and they tell you it's a woman. Now, generally, I don't care what you personally want to do with your junk. But for me, personally, you know, and I'm not even, one might go so far as to say that I'm a little vanilla in the bedroom, not super crazy on the sex stuff. After all, I only have 4 children and they all share a mother. But what you want to do with your own self and your own time, that's your business. What I choose to do with myself is not a statement of hate, it's a statement of preference. It's a statement of choice. And quite simply, for my taste, my requirements are a little more substantial than warm and concave. How about you, Cameroon?
Well, I totally identify as super straight. It's very important to me that the woman is biologically female. And I mean, that's my sexuality. You can't make fun of me. I can't help it. I was born this way.
See, and this is another example of unless you are, no, as long as you are not one of the protected classes, then it's okay to hate you. And to be very clear, the protected classes include all entities who are not simultaneously straight, white, and male. Right? If you are not simultaneously straight, white, and male, then any criticism, like for example, if you're a black lesbian female, nobody's allowed to criticize your book about how the 1619 Project, for example, or God, give me another one, Cameron. But basically, you can produce fallacious scholarly work, and if you're not a straight white male, you are immune to criticism because all criticism will be couched as criticism of your immutable identity characteristics rather than of the body of work itself. That is a terrifying premise.
I gotta tell you though, man, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, I know what we're talking about on Meme War Monday because this is meme-tastic.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I mean, okay, like all jokes aside, I said I identify as super straight. I was born that way. I can't help it, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I say it that way is on purpose because the thing that you're going to get from bisexual people and gay people is that this is how they were born. You know, like how many times have you heard the joke that goes something like, oh, we knew Johnny was gay at around 9 years old when he preferred Barbie dolls as opposed to G.I. Joes or whatever. But there's actually a lot of truth in that. I'm willing to accept as a premise that there's a certain amount of your sexuality that's just baked in with the cake the day you're born. Okay, fine. But how about we let that door swing both ways? Okay? It doesn't make me anti-science, okay? The whole tranny thing. So, Will, have you seen how fine some of them Thai lady boys look? And Chris pointed out as we were going through our show prep, he's like, yeah, but sometimes they make cakes that look like steaks, but they still taste like cake. And
oh, God. Legion is one of my favorite kinds of nerds. It's the progressive stack, he says. Taking HRT gives you a universal enchantment, allows a deviant's actions to resolve at instant speed. And let's not forget, somewhere around, what was it, Fallen Kingdoms, they removed the interrupt speed, so there's only interrupt speed, there's only instant speed on the stack. The only thing faster than instant is mana generation.
Right. Yeah, big nerds.
Super nerd!
Yeah, and speaking of all the virtue signaling, that reminds me, what was the name of that card that Magic pulled because it was offensive?
Oh, God. Yep. You know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to pull it up. Because I know. And I can pull that image up just that quick. Come on, load, fucker. Oh, wow. I just broke the F-bomb. Okay.
Over a nothing.
Over a nothing.
Yeah, but this all started.
Are you ready?
TikTok. Yeah.
Invoke. Oh, I found it in Italian apparently. There it is. Invoke prejudice. If opponent casts a summon spell that does not match the color of one of the creatures under your control, that spell is countered unless the caster pays an additional X, where X is the casting cost of the summoned spell. Now, I understand all the words that were used there, but here's what makes it especially funny. The card is actually card number 1488 in the in the, what is it? The Gatherer. In the Gatherer numerical list, it is card number 1488, which is a reference to white supremacism and Nazi stuff. And the artwork on the card, which I might add is a blue enchantment. Just I've heard of white people, black people, red people, yellow people. I don't know who the blue people are.
People.
But the image on the card is a bunch of guys in robes with hoods, and the hoods are even pointy, but they're in black robes, and the one in front has an executioner's axe. It's hilarious.
I'm sorry I asked.
You didn't know it went that deep, did you?
No. I was just trying to remember the name Invoke Prejudice. I was gonna say something about companies and social media sites doing ridiculous virtue signaling. I didn't expect that you were actually going to explain the card in detail.
So anyway, back to the super straight thing here. The thing about the arguments against super straight, because this what's going on is there are people who are saying they're super straight, as in I'm a heterosexual male who only has sex with biological women, as in I do not have sex with trans women because, as far as I'm concerned, sexually they're not women. That's the claim, and the rebuttal, of course, is, well, you're transphobic. Okay, if your claim is that by my preferring biological women to trans women, that's a choice that I'm making because of my bigotry, that solves. I tell you what, I'll accept that. I'll go ahead and say I am an anti-trans bigot where my sexuality is concerned. But in order for your argument to hold up to such an extent that I have to concede that point, then the argument you're making is that sexuality is a choice and that it is not biological. As in, no one who is gay or trans or whatever is that way because they were born to it. The argument you're making, if you say that super straight people are transphobic, the argument you're making is that all sexuality is by choice.
Yeah, danger, Will Robinson, danger. That sounds like something.
Because that's where you're going. So let's get to this article real quick from Pink News. And archived, of course, because I am sure as hell not giving Pink News any unnecessary clicks. So, yes, thank you, archive.us. TikTok user perfectly shuts down transphobic super straight trend. So one TikTok user has perfectly shut down a new transphobic trend of people identifying as super straight, claiming that refusing to date trans people is an orientation. I don't think it's an orientation. I think it's a baseline reasonable position. So,
but by their definition, it is in fact an orientation.
Yes. The trend appears to have started with TikTok user Kyle Royce, who recently created a video in which he said, "Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now. Actually, it's called super straight. Since straight people, or straight men like myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman." The TikToker said he wouldn't date a trans woman because that's not a real woman to me, like I want a real woman. Now I'm super straight, he added. I only date the opposite gender women that were born woman. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because it's just my sexuality. Okay. Although it seems highly unlikely that any trans woman has ever wanted to date Kyle Royce, the hateful trend began to spread to other social media platforms. The original video has been removed, and the TikTok user claims he has been banned from posting on the platform, but his video is being shared by others, also claiming to identify as super straight. And we just read the transcript. I'm not going to play the video. Dave Bowen says blue people live in Kentucky. Are they meth dealers? Other social media users have been forced to step in to explain why the trend is viciously transphobic and makes absolutely no sense, with one TikToker crafting the perfect response. So first, I would like to point out that this perfect response person is being shared on Twitter by a person who calls himself I Like Pizza with Kids on it. So... He said, super straight means that you think that men who date trans women are less straight, meaning that trans women are men, and therefore not real women, which is not only transphobic, but scientifically inaccurate.
Whoa. Believe it or not, I agreed with everything that Z, we'll go with Z. I agree with everything Z said until they said it was scientifically inaccurate. I do, in fact, think that if you have sex with transsexuals, that you're straight is not the word. I happen to agree with that, yes.
Agreed. Yes, if you have sex with yes. Traps are gay.
You might not be gay yourself for having sex with a trap, but you're not super straight.
Yes, you are. I mean, you pick up a good-looking chick at some bar, and you get home, and she whips it out. You can go on down that road, but please believe, you've just made a choice.
Well, wait a minute, but sexuality is a choice, or it's not?
The science is actually out on that. The science is actually out on that. And in my experience with homosexuals, and I've actually known quite a lot of them. I've gotten around in a lot of interesting places, and it seems to me that it is not a yes or no question or a yes or no answer. It's a yes and no answer. I honestly believe that there are some that are born that way and some that choose it.
Yes, Legion. I was actually thinking about Count Dankula.
Fair enough. Okay, so here's another article. This is from Distractify. It's basically the same article, but it hits another... Here it is. The guy, the perfect response apparently says, it's not a preference. If a white woman says she dates white guys, that means she dates white guys more often, but black guys aren't off the table. Okay. Well, okay, I'll finish what he said. Versus, I won't date you because you're black, which means that she thinks there's something inherently wrong with black people, even if she doesn't consciously think so. The exact same thing applies to what you're saying. Okay, for starters, let me just go back to this first sentence. If a white woman says she dates white guys, that is an absolute statement. Now, she didn't say I only date white guys, so whatever. And I don't care. But this is one of those cases of a person not understanding what language is. So I found him and I replied to his oh shit. Let me see. I replied to his tweet, and I'm hilarious, so I'm going to share this with you. Or it could be that I'm bad at Twitter, so I don't know where to find what I said to him. Okay, we'll come back to that later. No, we won't. I just don't know where it is. Anyway, I replied to him. So that means that cardiologists are actually anti-lung, gallbladder, brain, and quadrilacumbum muscle bigots, right? No, it doesn't mean that. They're specialists, and there's a reason. There's a word for that. Oh shit. Okay, I'll deal with that later. Damn. Anyway, I just looked down and the stone has fallen. I had an onyx in this gold ring on my finger, and I just looked down at my hand, and the stone's not there. It fell out. Well, shit. Anyway, so I guess I'll be looking for that in a minute. And that totally screwed up my train of thought. Where were we, Cameron?
Your tweet about specialists and whatnot.
Oh yeah, so yeah. It was a clever tweet. I don't have anything else to say about it.
But you know what I think is really clever about this whole situation is how brilliantly it exposes the hypocrisy that seems to be inherent to the left. Whenever you turn their logic back on them, God, they hate it. They hate it. They hate it. Ironically, there's a radical leftist group, the TERFs, that feel the exact same way, the trans exclusionary radical feminist. Now, I don't actually think they're any more radical than any other type of feminist. They're just a particular flavor of feminism that's like, no, feminism is for women, and you have to have been born with a vagina to be a woman. And in and of itself, I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that, apart from the whole, feminism is cancer part of it. But I mean, like all the stuff with the trans athletes and whatnot. I mean, I forget who made the point, but it's so true. We're at the point now where, adding on just a couple of pounds to the world weightlifting record, or shaving, 0.3 of a second off of a race time can make you the new world record holder in a sport, or even just the new record holder at your college, whatever. Your name goes on the wall and stays there for 30, 40 years. Well, now all that stuff's going to get blown away by men who are mediocre at male sports, but excel at female sports because, with very few exceptions, gymnastics being one of them, the increased muscle mass, the increased weight gives them an advantage in the sport. It's just like that one 50-year-old basketball player, you're bigger and taller than everybody else, so you sink more baskets? No shit. Really?
It's like, you're a foot taller than the rest of the players, and one of you can dunk. I'm sure it's just practice and technique. So I actually feel like we beat that to death, and I want to get on to Burger King on Twitter. They made
more virtue signaling.
I lost my freaking mind. I love it. In fact, some way or another, I'm going to get out of the house today and go get a freaking Whopper.
See, I'm not. This virtue signaling bullshit, but please continue.
Oh, no. Okay. I'll explain. Burger King tweeted, "Women belong in the kitchen." Okay, and I'll be fair. Let me back up. I'll be fair. Burger King UK tweeted, "Women belong in the kitchen." And the replies, 38,000 retweets, 36,000 quote tweets, 122,000 likes. Here, let's give them one more. Okay. So, Cameron, why don't you tell us why, because of this tweet, you explain why you're a militant feminist that hates Burger King because they believe women belong in the kitchen.
When was the last time you beat your wife, Cameron? Wait a damn minute.
Wait a minute. So,
okay. But I can tell you, here's my problem with it, is what this is it's Burger King being cheeky, okay? Burger King does have some edge to it. And what they're aiming for is to have more professional female chefs in the world. And I can say, as someone who did years of restaurant work, roughly 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 people in the kitchen are men in that environment. They just are. So Burger King has a problem with that, and it's time to, golly, that gender gap just needs to stop. And screw the fact that it could just be different choices that men and women make. It's an unbelievably high pressure environment once you move up to a certain level of restaurant work. You'd think standing over a fryer and making calamari all night would be easy. And when you're not 14 orders deep, it is easy. But, when it's 7:30 on a Friday night and it's 99 fucking degrees and you don't know where you set your cup of water down at and everybody's yelling at everybody, that's a whole different world. All that stuff that happens on Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen where Gordon Ramsay's yelling at people, that's only a slight exaggeration of the real thing. And so I hate the virtue signaling of it. What if women just don't want to be professional chefs?
Okay. Hey, Cade just commented, but when a man makes your burger, you can't find the hair in your food as easily. Let me just, I beg to differ, sweetheart.
But no, I hate the virtue signaling of it. I managed to piss off Sam Adams over the weekend.
Yes,
because they're promoting female brewers, and I'm like, look, I don't give a damn. Is the beer good? You know what? Fine, fuck it. I just won't buy Sam Adams anymore.
Yeah, let me see if I can find where you shared that to.
Oh. Yes. I kept explaining over and over again, I'm not knocking the female brewers. I'm knocking Sam Adams for the virtue signaling.
I don't have it.
Okay.
I've got the picture of the future is fem ale. The whole idea that the future is female, that's also bigotry. Okay, listen.
But it's acceptable bigotry.
The gender wage gap idea has been thoroughly debunked. It only exists in so much as if you average out all the incomes of all the men and all the incomes of all the women, then you can show a gender wage gap. Remember, all the men includes Jeff Bezos in them. And the majority, just over 50% of all multimillionaire, billionaire women in the world are either heiresses or divorcees who took that money from a man when he died or when she left him.
Yeah, speaking of Jeff Bezos, okay, I'm not saying he did not deserve to get divorced by his wife for cheating on her with like 24 different women. I can see how that would be marriage ending, but at the same time, golly, she just walked away with half of like a lot. All she had to do was hire a lawyer and file a piece of paper, which men are not allowed to contest divorce anymore. I mean, you can, but all you do is slow the process down. If one person files for divorce, y'all go end up divorced. It don't take the two of you to agree on it. And so all she had to do was file a piece of paper, and then she's a billionaire.
Yeah, and Cade points out heavy lifting and high-risk professions pay more. They're mostly male. That's actually not that's not an adequate explanation. Heavy lifting and high-risk professions pay more at the lowest levels than most unskilled labor. But the unskilled labor market also includes secretary work, maids, and to a lesser extent paralegals. Paralegals not completely unskilled, but you could start it unskilled and get training on the job pretty quickly. But and retail, right? Working a retail counter. All of those, there's a lot of room to make money in those. And let's not forget the pharma girl. The pharma girl is an unskilled position. And there's a reason we think of the pharma girl. Employers always prefer, unless you're selling something like a certain type of car, and even then, the employer always prefers that the customer-facing sales agent is an attractive female in their mid-20s to early 30s. That's it. Those jobs, there are a lot of jobs in that space that are very high paying. If you're in your mid-20s and can just work a retail counter, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to work the retail counter at something like Kohl's or Hot Topic where you're getting paid minimum wage. You could easily, without a lot of knowledge, be working a retail counter selling jewelry on commission. And you will be hired preferentially over your male counterparts if you are merely more attractive. In some cases, even if they have more sales experience, because it's hard to beat tits with sales experience.
Yeah. Look, I get it. All the stuff from Burger King is funny and like that's a fantastic joke. But man, I'm so tired of it. On the one hand, there's all this "I am woman, hear me roar, yes, queen, slay. There's nothing a woman can do that a man can't do. A man can do, a woman can't do, whatever." But then we have to have stuff like this where Burger King's like, "Oh, bless your heart. Y'all need to be in the kitchen more often, so we're going to give you a scholarship so that you can go into a job you don't want." Hey, maybe, and it's just a thought, okay? Maybe there are fewer women in STEM fields because fewer women find STEM interesting. They have a tendency to gravitate toward the more human element. I like the way Jordan Peterson put it. Women are attracted to people, and men are attracted to things.
Well,
it's just
interested in people and interested in things.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
A woman is much more likely to be interested in a person telling her a story about how their day was or about the drama in their life, and a man is much more likely to be interested in disassembling and reassembling and testing the limits of the newest gee whiz gadget. Like, I just got a new camera. I can't wait to go play with it.
And look, not that there are not men who
not even shoot anything. I just want to push all the buttons and see what they do before I point it at something that I want to capture.
And not that there aren't men who make excellent psychologists, like Jordan Peterson being one of them. And not that there are not women that make excellent engineers, okay? But, you know, as soon as you really start to look at large sample sizes, that, you know, men tend to have those more aggressive tendencies at about a 60-40 rate when compared to women. It just is what it, and women tend to be agreeable at about a 60-40 rate compared to men. So, of course, it makes sense that there are going to be more male chefs. It's a high-stress environment that occasionally has fistfights in the back. Like, seriously, y'all don't ever really want to know how your food is made. Just trust me.
Dude, Cade asks the question, can we do a penis monologue series? Cade, not only can we do a penis monologue series, but I tell you what, I will go ahead and check Amazon for an inflatable penis costume. You know, one of those blow-up costumes like the T-Rex costume that has a little fan in it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and look for that right now. Go ahead, Cameron.
No, Steve says something that I want to touch on, that there's a great benefit to allowing folks to chase interests. It's a whole other thing to claim they're being forced out of what they're interested in because the numbers are one-sided. And yeah, that's kind of my point, that maybe women just don't want to be chefs. because if women wanted to be chefs, there would be more female chefs. One of the great lies, all this bullshit with the patriarchy, and why I hate that whole damn concept, is one of the very first things that any civilized society embraces is the concept of consent. Because if we were really a patriarchy, if this really was The Handmaid's Tale, like seriously, y'all pay attention when you watch the damn show. The women are not allowed to say no. But any civilized society has consent. And that consent goes both ways. And not just sexually, but with society at large. So I assure you, if women wanted to be chefs, there'd be more female chefs, because guys like me, I like my women happy, because women that are happy are a whole lot more likely to like me. And so I don't want to force them to do something they don't want to do. Most civilized men do not. So stuff like this is just pure virtue signaling. I hate it. I'm so sick of it. And if I'm done drinking Sam Adams, if I'm done eating Burger King, I mean, today is International Women's Day. No, it's not. It's my sister's birthday. And literally, it is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, sis. Forcing is the new choosing. There you go, Cade. Yes. Freedom is slavery. $30. Slavery is freedom.
We're doing this. So, yes, Cade, that's a thing we can do. All right, brother. I think we about beat it to death, though.
We beat the penis to death?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the topic. Steve just says, lol, I was moderated. Who the hell moderated Steve?
I don't know. Steve is the moderator.
Okay, somebody needs to fess up right quick about moderating Steve, or I'm going to demoderate everybody but Steve.
Whole new set of blue wrenches incoming. All right, brother.
Google took it. Sons of bitches. You'll have to text it to me, Steve, so I can know what you got hit on.
All right, brother. I think that's me.
All right, later, brother. Y'all be safe out there. We will see you tomorrow.